And now for our feature presentation.
No stone is unturned when you tune into Just Toy Talking Too Much.
Just Toy Talking Too Much.
We talking sex, marriage, relationships, prejudice, politics.
Girl.
Your rights, my rights, the way that I see it, the way how we talk. When we talk real talk.
And that's the double truth. Say, people, you talk too much. And if you're talking, you can't be listening. But you need to be listening to Just Toy Talking Too Much. Get it?
And that's the triple truth, Ruth.
Greetings, and gratitude for tuning into another episode of Just Toy Talking Too Much with one of her edgy, witty, raw, and candid rants of expression. So I'm going to get right into it. First and foremost, this edgy, witty, raw, and candid rant of expression is brought to you by the distinctive Dapper Do, for the Dapper Do that always looks good. And they are found on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, as well as Gangsta Glam, which is a women's boutique. And they can be found on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I can be found at Just Toy Talking Too Much and at Miss Toy High on Instagram, and Just Toy Written Expressions on Facebook. Okay, if you go to the website, www.justtoytalking2much.com, a subscribe box will appear on the screen. Go ahead, put your email ad in there. You will be updated, not inundated, with vlogs, articles, write-ups, things of that nature, as well as just hit the thumbs up button on the website. Let me know that, you like the content. And I appreciate you tuning in to another edgy, witty, raw, and candid rant of expression. So I'm going to get into it. I am working my soundboard over here. And I always say that in my edgy, witty, raw, and candid rants of expression that I will always spit and spew my truth. I never know who I'm assisting, especially if I'm using myself as an example. I don't have an issue in telling the good and the bad and the ugly. So I need right now a drum roll. Yes, sir. And this edgy, witty, raw, and candid rant is called The Secret Security of Stress. How deep is that? Is there anybody at the door? Yes, stress. That's who's ringing the door at this particular time. And so I have sat back and I have seen the drama unfold 100% with all of the things that one particular rapper has been talking about. And I've also seen a lot of the posts of celebs, non-celebs, and people that I have spoken to and people that have been in my life. And I have actually seen how stress and issues have cumulated and have changed our perception of ourselves and have us doing some things that are unattractive. I shared in a depression post that I was depressed, and I had, and still actually when I made this edgy, witty, raw, and candid rant of expression, I was still what I consider in a depressed mode. And it was just so many things that had, a plethora of things that had come about that had started to stress me out. And this was affecting the way that I wanted to deal with myself, with my family, and things of that nature, because it was a buildup. However, it is a difference when you have a build up from things that you can't control, and it does stress you out in regards to not accepting that there are certain things happening in your life and you are not mentally and emotionally preparing yourself to deal with the issue. So I'm not going to say anything in regards to the rapper Kanye negatively, because I don't feel that that's what is needed. I am appalled by what he says, and then even trying to retract the statement and trying to give an explanation as to why he said what he said. And for those who have spoke on it. I did do a write up on Just Toy Talking Too Much. It's under the blog, and it's called Kanye is Killing Us with the Rants. And I didn't go in like a lot of people went in on Kanye. I went in on Kanye like, you know what, it's deeper. And there are a lot of people that felt the same way. It's deeper than just this. Kanye has been ranting and has been emotionally going through it ever since his mother's passed. He doesn't feel that he needs any psychological help. He really doesn't have any family and friends and loved ones that are coming to his rescue, or that are sitting down and speaking with him and assisting him with what he's going through mentally and emotionally. And what I feel that they're saying to Kanye, those who say that they love him, they're really saying, fuck you. They really don't care what's going on with him and his situation at the time. Because I'm going to tell you something. If you really have family and friends, and they see your how a lot of things are affecting you, and yet guarantee, I didn't guarantee this, that the interview that he did with Charlemagne the God was very eye-opening, and I saw things on a whole different level. That's why you should go to and read the Kanye's Killing Us with the Rants, because it doesn't speak how a lot of people have spoke on Kanye negatively. However, when we are in a security of stress, meaning that we can't let go of the past, meaning that we can't move forward, meaning that we're becoming bitter now because of the stress, and everything that you go through in the life journey, choices and decisions that you've made affect your life, affect your future, affect your present, and then things that are uncontrollable. So now, you can go and you can speak to various people and you can tell them what's going on, and they're really not going to.
We're sorry. You have reached a number that has been disconnected or is no longer in service.
That is if you're consistently ranting and you're not making sense. So therefore now you disconnected yourself from people, from life, from the world. There's a slow disconnection that is happening because you're stressing, and you're actually secretively stressing, and you're beginning to get secure in the stress. So therefore now you're pulling yourself further and further back. Now, your family and your friends are supposed to be those to notice a change in your personality. They're supposed to be the ones that come to your rescue. Now, granted, I don't know if anyone has come to your rescue or to others' rescues when they start to see a little bit of change in your persona. You're withdrawing. These are the times that we need to come and we need to rescue our family and friends. You know what I'm saying? And not just, but we do get so caught up in our own crap. Bills are due, jobs, money, love, marriages, family, children. There's so many things that happen on a day-to-day basis that we have to deal with. So then therefore that starts to disconnect us from family. It starts to disconnect us from friends. It starts to disconnect us from our job, from whom we are, because we're inwardly stressing, and it's starting to affect us secretively in now the perception of how others see us as like something's wrong with her or him. And this has been something that's been going on like with Kanye for a while. And even with my own stress and even with my own things that I was going through, it had accumulated. And so it had led me to have 6 to 7 months of depression. I'm talking about I come home from work, I have on the clothes that I worked in for the day, and I hop in my bed. I'm screaming and yelling at people. I'm saying things that doesn't make sense. I'm having conversations that I wouldn't normally have. I'm saying things that I wouldn't normally say. So I totally understand 100% of what Kanye is going through. However, I wasn't checked into a psych hospital. I wasn't given opiates. I wasn't given any of that. I did have my mother that kept pulling me back. She kept calling. This was the only person that kept calling me. She kept calling. She kept pulling me back. And even when I would rant, she would listen. And then she would be like, okay, Toy. And she just kept pulling me in. If it was not for her, I totally believe I would have went off on the extreme deep end. But I literally had my mother raking me back because she had noticed. And I would do the ranting, I would do the confusion, I would cry, I would yell, I would be mean, I would everything, but she never gave up. So big ups to my mom. I really, really, really love her for that. Yeah, my mom is awesome. She didn't give up on me. So Kanye apparently doesn't have that, along with a plethora of other people. I don't want to make this about Kanye, but a plethora of other people that are in the world that are doing things, saying things, and acting as out of character of what you actually know of this individual. They're 100% acting out of character, and because, excuse me, we get so busy with our own lives and what's going on. When someone comes around and they want to start ranting, and
Not today.
we have that. Like, I don't want to be bothered. Now, that's a good thing and a bad thing, because the good thing about it is that, like, if you consistently and keep doing it over and over and over and over and over, your friend or your family member is going to feel like,
You talk too much. You talk too much.
and they're not going to want to listen to you, because what is the change? What's the out result? What is the outward result? Why do we keep having these conversations? What do you plan to do to stop the madness that keeps transpiring, that keeps coming to a head, that's making you feel this way? What is it that we need to do? So if someone's going through it and we keep having the same conversation, what can I say? What are we going to do? How are we going to move on from today and be that person's rock, that person's ride or die at that time? Now, I am the one, I don't have tolerance for anyone that's in a situation or a relationship or a rapport with someone, and they keep saying the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, and they're not making any moves. I don't see anything, any conversation. I don't see anything, a verb, as far as like, I am getting myself out of this situation. I see none of that. So when you're starting to talk to me for like about the third or fourth time, I've got this. I'm like, I'm totally over it.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
And I'm going to cut the whole, look. When are you ready to do something? When are you ready to get help? When are you ready to go to the hospital? When are you ready to leave this man? When are you ready to take control of your household? When are you ready to take control of your destiny? What is it that I need to do or to encourage you? What information is it that I need to send you? What is it that I have to keep building you up? You know what I mean? And I had to get to that, but thank God there was my mom there, because there was absolutely no one there. I was getting more of the negative encouragement from some, instead of the, it's okay, you can do it, and break it. You have to be strong enough to break it yourself. Secretly stressing is something that can turn you into almost like a psychotic individual. And so you're under so much duress, and you've got all these thoughts and feelings and emotions on the inside of you. And some people get to a point where they don't even want to discuss it. They just keep it in, keep it in, keep it in. Those are the people that I'm a little weary of, a little leery of. Not weary, but leery. And I'm at a distance. It's like, the saying that they have with, watch a quiet person or a shy person, because you never know when they're going to jump up. I mean, that's to hurt you. You never know what to expect. Those are the ones, the quiet ones are the wild ones, this, that, and the third, or the nerds, or that kind of thing. Like, watch those. And it is true, because we've gotten these mass shootings with across the country, where you would never expect this one to go shoot up a theater or to shoot up a couple of high schools or a church. These are the quiet, nerdy, I never expected, always to himself, never gave no problems. These are those. So these are those that I want to watch if I know you're acting out of character or this is not who you are. And even you can still see a little change in an individual that is like you're spending too much time in your room. Like, I know you spend time in your room, but just now it's just too much time in your room. Something, we got to watch behaviors. So this secretly stressing starts to affect you mentally. Some people can hold in at all of the stress, all of the anger, all of the mental and emotional issues that they're having, and then talk to someone and somebody can say the wrong thing, do the wrong thing, and that's when it triggers them to go and shoot up the people at their job because they got fired, or to go hurt someone, or to go off on someone. So my mom says, you know what, you always watch what you say and how you approach people, because you never know where a person is in their life and what they're going through. And so you can't get mad. Like, someone's driving and you're road raging and this person's like, oh, you hit me, and they start going off on this person, and this person that they're going off on is the person who's right on the edge. They get shot, they get jumped, they get stabbed, or something dramatic happens because they were right close on to the edge. You know, they see red right now. And the only way for me to get this off of me is to attack you. And so therefore now the actions, the deeds, the words, the things said, the whole blankness, the whole, I don't know what's going on in my life, and bewilderment comes from just that. And Kanye is just an example of that. In his interview with Charlemagne, I noticed his eyes. I noticed every move he made, the way he touched himself, the way he moved his hands, his body language, everything, you know, just in a quandary. Like, he's so unsure, just like in a quandary of everything, not knowing what to say, his thought process, how he literally has to seriously think before he speaks, because he knows he's been secretly stressing and he's been saying things that don't make sense to, not even, it makes sense to himself, but it doesn't even make sense. Then it starts not to making sense to himself because he's not saying it correctly. And I've done that myself, and I've been around other people that I'm like, what are you talking about? What are you saying? This doesn't make sense. And they have to re-explain themselves, maybe even more than once or twice. These are the people who are under so much duress and they're secretly stressing. And then it is those that I have been around that have done some of the things or spoke the way that Kanye has spoke, that I have been able to dig in and say, okay, so what's going on? Okay, well, I'm stressing about this. It's just so much I'm going through. Okay, well, then what are you going through? Okay, so what can we do? Okay, so well then, you know, and that's when you come in with that as a friend, as a relative, as a sister, brother, or whatever, or a mentor, or a parent. That's when you come in with, what do we need to do? How can I assist you? Look, it's not good to be alone. It's not good to secretly stress. And it's not good to call someone consistently and tell them of your woes and your problems and pass the burden on to someone else. It is good to get it off your chest. However, after speaking on it, let's say 3 times or 4 times, what is it now that you're going to do to make this situation better? Because dwelling in it, crying about it, and consistently speaking on it is going to push you away from family, friends, acquaintances, associates, and coworkers. And it's also going to push you away from yourself. And now the person that you used to be, you will see that you have changed. You will see that things have changed, but you're going to see it for the negative and not for the bad, and not for the good. And that's when the physical starts to change and everything, you know. So I want to say gratitude for tuning into another edgy, witty, raw, and candid rant of expression. And it is good to speak to someone. It is good to get encouragement and to be uplifted. But there's only so many people that can encourage you. You have to at some point encourage and uplift yourself and speak positivity in your life. And for those who are around those who are secretly stressing, you need to step to the plate. You need to step up, and you see the changes that this person is having. You can physically see, you're not speaking right, you're not dressing right, you're not eating right. There's so many things. Like, I see a downward spiral in your norm. You need to step, and you need up to him, her, and pull them to the side. And if this is a loved one, you consistently talk and talk and talk until you get it right, until what is it that we need to do to get you from all of this? Because I'm seeing all of the changes that you're making, and it's not attractive, and I see you going downwards and downwards. And not only just Kanye doesn't have that, but there are a lot of people that are dwelling in our lives and walking around in this world that don't have that either. This is another episode of Just Toy Talking Too Much, but we talk real talk. We talk with you. We talk with your friends. And I'm out. Have a good one.